Alright guys, welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm going to be doing something really cool. So I actually recently bought this Game Boy DMG off of eBay. I'm going to link the eBay picture here. Alright, so yeah, I was able to get this off of eBay for about $30. I saw in the picture, which I'll show up here, the picture actually looked really nice. Like it looked just like this. You can see that this Game Boy is gray, so it actually looks pretty clean. The only problem is there's a heck of a lot of battery corrosion in here, which does suck. So that would make it so that it does not turn on. And actually the lens fell off too. So that's kind of ironic. My old one did that too. The one that I originally turned into my DMG. Actually, I mean my custom Game Boy. Speaking of that one, actually, here it is. You can actually see the color difference. This one was super yellow versus this one, which is gray. So what I'm thinking is that person who owned this one left it in a box for a very long time and the batteries exploded because this thing does not look like it was touched by the sun at all. The only thing is I don't know if it works. So I'm going to have to see if it does. But what's good about that is this Game Boy, since I did take out the back shell, I do have new battery contacts that I could use from here. So yeah, let me just go ahead and test to see. I do have a power supply that I can actually plug into this to see if it turns on, which I want to see if it works first. So let me go ahead and plug that in. Now, the power supply that I have for this thing is actually pretty old. It's one of these old car chargers for the Game Boy from a long time ago that actually has the ability to use it for Game Boy Color, and Game Gear. So I actually use this for this. I actually have a converter that converts car outlet to house outlet. So let me go ahead and plug this in and I'm going to show and see if this turns on. All right. So now that I have this plug, I'm going to put it on the Game Boy plug and I'm going to go ahead and plug this into here. Now let's go ahead and see if it works. I'm just going to take that lens off for now. Go ahead and turn it on. Oh wow, it actually does work. Go ahead and turn the contrast up and down. And there actually is no lines on this screen at all. That is awesome. For as old as Game Boy is and how much I paid for it, that is awesome. There's no lines on that screen at all. Doesn't seem to have been outside, like it doesn't seem to have any type of burn or anything on it. That is really cool. But yeah, so let me go ahead. I'm going to take this thing apart, try to see if I can change out those battery contacts. Alright, so after I know that it works with the AC power, I'm going to actually try putting batteries in this. From the way that the guy put it on the internet is it wouldn't work anyways. So that's why I immediately went to the AC power instead of trying the battery contacts. I mean, these things are green. I highly doubt it's going to work. But let me go ahead and grab the batteries. I'm going to go ahead and just try it, but I pretty much know it's not going to work. There's way too much corrosion in this. Wow, I can't even get the batteries in there. Yeah, it doesn't turn on at all. I pretty much figured that with the way that the batteries were corroded, but it's a good thing I have that adapter so I'm able to test it. So put those to the side. See if I can get that one actually out. Contact's hard as heck to get in and out. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this thing apart and try to see if I can figure out if I can just replace these. I should be able to. Go ahead and take my Y bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unscrew this back. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and remove the back. Let me go ahead and unplug the screen in the front. All right, so I unplugged the screen. All right, so now the back is where we're going to have to tackle. So I do know that the battery contact can actually come out with these little tiny prongs right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to see if I can get them out. So I'm going to go ahead and use a pair of tweezers to try to poke. There's a little like trigger that's inside of here that keeps the metal piece on. So I'm actually going to use a spudger instead. And I'm going to try to spudge and push down on this. Let's try to see if I can get them out. You can hear the latch. This thing is in there. It does not want to come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up trying to see if I can use a flathead. Try to see if I can get it out that way. Try this bottom one first. Use that along with this. All right, so that is that first contact. Wow, you can see all the like green stuff. Yeah, there's no way in heck that was gonna work. I could probably clean this to reuse them, but since I have the pieces from the other back, I'm just going to use that instead. So let me go ahead and change to a Phillips. I'm going to remove this audio jack so I can get the other one out. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be removing the entire back board. So I'm going to take this out first. Take that, and then there's 2 more screws here. So I could have done this whole thing without removing the board, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove the board to make it easier. So go ahead and remove this motherboard out of here, which doesn't look like there's any rust on these contacts. There is a little bit. I can also see some rust up here on the game slot. So I got to see if it also reads games, which I don't know if it does. So go ahead and set that to the side. So yeah, the inside of this is actually really clean. Woo, power button went flying. Power button. But yeah, the inside actually looks pretty clean. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these other 2 out. I'm going to go give this a clean in the sink with a little bit of soap. What I'm going to also do is I'm actually going to be removing the front of this and try to see if I can get this adhesive off of here. And I'm also going to give this one a nice clean, like the buttons and everything, even though it's like a really nice condition, but I want to make sure I can clean it. So on this, let me go ahead and see if I can poke out the other triggers. It's better with this and the flathead. Yep, and that's the next one. And then let me go ahead and get out this third one, which is going to be up here at the top. So it's as simple as just pushing this lever in and then just getting something to push down. So I'm going to use this to push down slightly on this. Then I'm going to just push it right out, just like that. So that's going to be all 3 of these out. What I could do is I could take some lime away to this and try to see if I can get all of this rust off. But these things are so rusted and corroded that I don't think it's going to be worth for me to do. But I do want to clean out all of this green stuff out of here. So I'm going to take this in the front after I remove the screen and going to give it a nice clean. Right, So that is going to be the screen off. Now I'm going to take all of this to the sink and give it a clean and try to see if I am able to remove this right here. So I should be able to just kind of like scratch it off once I get a little bit of water on it. It's the adhesive from the old screen. So let me go ahead and take this to the sink and see if I can get this off. I'm also going to end up removing this metal shield here in the back. Alright, and now I'm going to take this to the sink and clean the back, and I'm also going to clean the front. And I'm going to try to see if I can get this glue stuff off, and a little gooby gone, something like that, to be able to remove this. Hopefully it'll work out great for it, but yeah, you can see this thing is in pretty good condition. So let me go ahead and take it to the sink and try to see if I can give it a clean. Alright, so now I've come back from the sink. I've given this thing an entire wash. In an inside and out. I cleaned up all of the back of this so it's no longer black. Cleaned out all of that corrosion that was in there. And then also on this front, I got all this sticky stuff, the original adhesive off, that was on here with a little bit of hot water and one of these spudgers. Basically just try to like scrape it off a little bit, but obviously don't push too hard. But yeah, so that is going to be it cleaned. I also cleaned all of the buttons as well while I was at the sink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put these buttons back in. This is upside down. So I'm going to put all this stuff back in. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'll push this in as well. Go ahead and put this in there. Go ahead and cover these buttons. Now, I don't think this thing was played much. This stuff was not almost dirty at all. I still put it all through there just to make sure it was clean, but I don't think this Game Boy was very played. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the screen. Let's go ahead and go with the screen. I'm going to make sure it's clean. Don't want to push too hard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place it back into the front of this. All right, I'm going to replace the speaker. Lift the board, place the speaker back in. Now I'm going to screw back in all of the screws that were on this motherboard. So it's going to be all the screws that I put right here. So let me go ahead and start sticking them back in. All right, so that is going to be the front back on with all of the buttons. So now it's time to reassemble the back piece. But what I'm going to do is, because of these corroded pieces, I'm going to remove them from my old DMG from the back of it, because this is still usable stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and put my flathead back on. And then I'm going to remove these, remembering that these springs are on the right side of all of these. So the right side, even though this would be the other way, but it's still on the right side of this. So I'm going to go ahead and unspring all of these. Same way I did the other ones. That's that one out. So let me go ahead and slip this through the back here. It'll be that one in. Go ahead and push this next one out. Now these ones drop out a lot easier than the other ones because those are corroded. Go ahead and put that in there. And then we're going to take the next one out as well. Go ahead and put that in here. All right, and that is going to be all of those now are in place. Make sure that they snap in. Yep, they're all snapped in. everything's good to go on the back of this now. So now I'm going to reinstall this board. Double checking, there was a little bit of corrosion damage on this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a little brush and just make sure that anything that is on there is not. I saw a little bit of green right here, but that looks like it's just corrosion from it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that off. Looks like it's further down into it, but it doesn't seem to have affected the contacts because none of the contacts are corroded or anything like that. So I think it'll be okay. If not, I want to retake it back apart. So let me go ahead and reinstall this shield, which is in really nice condition. Go ahead and reinstall this. All right, so that is going to be the back on. So let me go ahead and reinsert the board along with the power switch. Oh, it's upside down. Go ahead and insert it like this, and then put this power switch back in here as well. So go ahead and set it like this. Power switch in, just like that. Go ahead and make sure everything is sitting nice. Then we'll go ahead and I'm going to re-screw these 4 screws back in. All right, now that's going to be the back on. So let me go ahead and re-put back on the front and the back. Go ahead and I'm going to move that. I'm going to put the back and the front together. All right, now that I have the back and front together, I'm going to go ahead and close it up. And I'm going to put in the screws for the back. Actually, before I do that, let me actually test and see if it turns on with the new contacts in it. That battery actually went in a lot easier now. It's not corroded. All right, moment of truth. Let's see. And that is it on. So it does work now. Pretty much knew by the guy's description on eBay that he said that it wouldn't work, that the batteries originally weren't going to work. That's why you have the adapter. But I do know that it does work now, and it does look like that everything is working. I will test this in a minute. So now that I know it turns on, let me go ahead and take the batteries out. And then I'm going to replace the old screws. All right, now that I have it reassembled, let me go ahead and put the batteries back in again. And this time I'm actually going to test to see if it reads a game. Which I probably actually should have done before I screwed it back in, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna work. All right, so I'm actually gonna be taking my test cartridge here of that Japanese game. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick that into the back and let's see if it runs. Take it back out, put it back in. All right, so it doesn't look like it's actually reading the cart, so I will have to end up taking it apart again and seeing if there is corrosion inside of the actual part. I'm gonna try a different game. So let me try my Pokemon Silver. See if that will make any difference. Oh, so it is reading. There's something wrong with that game since I originally used it. But yeah, so it does look like it actually is loading. And that is going to be Pokemon Silver there, running. So it does read. So I was assuming there was going to be more corrosion. There might actually be, so I might test this out with more games and try to see if I need to clean up any of the corrosion, but it does work. And you can see here that the speaker works great too. Wrong side. But the speaker does work great as well. So this actually turned out really, really nice. I really like that it's like still gray. The only thing it's missing is it doesn't have the battery cover. So I will be getting a replacement battery cover for this since I do not have one, but that will be it. The one thing that I do want to do, let me go ahead and take that out, is the original lens actually is not that bad, so it doesn't really have too many scratches on it. The only problem is trying to get all of this off and then putting adhesive back down onto this to put this lens back on. So what instead I'm going to do is when I originally got my original DMG, the shell for the custom one that I did, it actually came with a replacement lens. So this is going to be a replacement lens that's going to have stickiness on it so that I can adhere it back down to this. So I think that's going to be a lot better than trying to use the original, as it's going to be pretty hard to remove. The only difference is that the original is actually a lot lighter than this one. You can actually see that on camera too. It's actually a pretty big difference too. Check what's the other lens look like. Yeah, the original ones are pretty light actually versus this one. But I'm gonna put this one on for now. I might eventually put this one back on, but it is a bit scratched. Not by that much, but it's gonna be hard to get this off. So instead I'm just going to take this one and I'm gonna put this one on here instead. So let me go ahead and clean this screen. Alright, so I went ahead and cleaned that. Now I'm gonna take this lens and I'm going to peel the back off. And I'm going to stick it in place. Just like that. So right there, that is going to be the new lens on. Let me go ahead and peel off the little protective layer. Actually, you know what? I might actually keep that on there. So it's actually kind of like a protectant for it. And that's going to be it there. Actually came out really, really nice. Instead of having to do a shell change for this, the original shell was fine. It does suck that I do have to buy that battery back for this, but they're only a couple dollars on eBay for some original ones. So I'm going to buy one of those. It's about $6, $7 in order to put on the back of this. But I do really like how this came out, how it's still an original shell. And even though that's not the original lens anymore since I put this replacement on, but it still works out really, really nice for this. So, and that is it still working. So yeah, so I think the battery contacts are fine. I might just need to put a cleaning card through this. So yeah, I might need to put a cleaning card through this or something to clean the contacts, as it's been a while, but it still does load, so everything is fine. I just did a double loop there, but everything does work on it. So I am really happy with how this turned out. It's going to be a nice piece once I get the actual back for it. But it looks really, really nice how it still looks like gray instead of the weird looking yellow how most Game Boys change like this. You can see the difference. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I wish I was going to be able to save these, but there was no point in even trying to fix those since I was able to just use the ones from the back of this Game Boy. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys watching the videos. So yeah, if you guys want to leave a like for this video, please leave a like. If you guys want to leave a comment down below for any future videos, that'd be awesome. If you guys want to leave a subscribe on your way out, that'd be great. Alright guys, thanks for watching my video. Peace.